Hi guys. Thanks for the intro. All right, where is the clicker? Here we go. Okay, shortly about myself. I'm a marketer with 10 plus years experience in digital. Half of the time I'm working in mobile industry. I used to work at Fiber, then at Wuga, and also I get quickly bored, so that's why I'm at Popcore right now. Also, I'm a member of UA Society, so if you know, that's a pretty interesting opportunity to grow as a professional, talking to your peers. Let's get down to the business. Shortly about Popcore. Popcore is a Berlin-based hyper-casual game developer. We are pretty new. I joined Popcore half a year ago, and we are already having 6 hyper-casual titles in our portfolio. If anyone in the audience have ever played a hyper-casual game, can you please raise your hand? Okay, nice. we have people familiar with the industry a little bit, at least. So let me show you a short kind of video. What kind of games we are building? Yes. So this is Wrecking Ball, Folding Tiles, followed by Connect the Pops, our first title, and the recent one, Sandwich, which is breaking the charts right now. Super tasty. You can follow us on Instagram. We have big fan group there. Okay, let's move forward. And how many of UA managers are here? Like hands-on. Cool. Thank you, guys. Do you manage one app or one channel? Maybe 2 channels, 2 apps. So the problem of a UA manager, as you may know, is like the complexity. So once you have one app, everything is good. Or what if you manage one channel. But what if you have 2, 3 apps? You have 5, 6 channels to manage. The complexity grows exponentially, and you kind of start to spread thin, and you don't know what to do actually. And therefore, you have to split responsibilities. So maybe you have 6 UA managers managing 6 different apps, or maybe you are 6 UA managers managing 6 different channels, but 1 app. This is how you solve your complexity problem. And also, you just not only manage campaigns, but you need to combine and compile different data from different dashboards. Then you combine them into one dashboard or maybe one file, and you do something with this data. So it's a lot of work. Actually, until recent times at Popcore, I was the only UA manager full-time doing heavy lifting of 6 of our titles and several channels that we run. That's pretty intense, I would say. What do we do to solve this problem at Popcore? We do automation. First of all, before you start doing automation, of course, you need to kind of brush your data. You need to have everything in one place. For example, to start doing automation, we actually need to kind of collaborate with third party to organize everything. So we use as a service provider Adjust, our MMP, and then we have a nice addition offered by them called Acquired.io, which offers us to do kind of, it offers us a dashboard where we do our campaign management. We get insights, we get automation tools, and we also can manage our campaigns through that unified interface. Pretty neat. So I will explain it a little bit later. But here are the 2 things we focus on in our automation. So creatives and campaigns. So let's start with creatives. Our main focus, like to mention you, our main focus at Popcore is video as a source of media for a user, and also playable. Video is something we really do at scale, and this is the typical process everyone may have in their own company. So you have your ideation time, you have your ideation stage, then you create a video concept from the idea, then you test your concept, and then you implement winning creative into live campaigns. At Popcore, we automate the part that comes from video concept because we get like a lot of videos every week. This is just not the full list even. So we can get up to 100 videos simply a week that we need to test, that we need to select what are the best videos actually, and then implement them. So when we have our videos ready, we just feed them into a Google Drive folder. The script will take those videos and upload to Facebook. Facebook is a really nice platform for testing your concepts and your ideas. They have all of the tools super developed. You just need to connect in the right way. And yeah, so we upload using the script our videos. We just hit the button to run the campaign, and overnight we get results. When the next day I come to the office, I get my top performing creatives. I understand who is the winner, and I know what to do next. So I will continue my cycle, and I either iterate on the winning creative, or I will put my winning creatives into live campaigns. And actually the second part, implementing creatives into the live campaigns, also can be automated. We use a simple snippet of code that is written on Python that will put my winning creatives into the campaigns on Facebook. Next, that's it about creative automation. Moving forward with campaigns optimization. There are several layers you can break them down into. And the first is the simple one. As I mentioned before, you need to have a dashboard, of course. Like, you cannot start doing automation before you have comprehensive view of what's happening in your campaigns. So once you have it, you can start doing like a second step. Simple rules. You have your KPIs, maybe it's retention, maybe it's return on the ad spend, maybe LTV, whatever, you name it, depending on what you have in your company. For example, I like to use return on the ad spend on day 0, and if certain threshold met, I get an email notification. Pretty simple, but saves a lot of time and kind of helps you to stay on top of things. Also, you can go one step forward and start giving more actions to the script. So I verify my data. Let's say my return on the ad spend is above certain threshold or below certain threshold, and I have enough installs, enough statistical data to make the decision, then I would ask the script to do small changes in my campaigns. For example, increase the bid in my campaign by 5%, or decrease the daily cap by 10% because we are not delivering results. Actually, this small technique helped us to scale Google UAC. It's pretty complicated tool to manage once you have a lot of campaigns. When we were scaling Sandwich in a couple of weeks ago, at some point we had like 50 running campaigns just for one app alone. And managing all of these campaigns is just a pain in the ass. And you know, UAC is super sensitive when you do changes. You cannot do incremental changes like 20% every day, increase my budget, increase my caps or something like that. So the script every day or every other day would do small 5% changes in my campaigns. Therefore, I kind of not bothering doing this routine work, logging into UAC and doing some small nasty changes. And that helped us to grow UAC, and it was at some point delivering 40% of our installs to the app while we were scaling. Pretty cool. And the last part, which is a bit more complicated, then you need your coding skills or someone needs to help you. So here we have nice, at Popcore we have nice data science team that actually helped me to build this kind of small snippets of scripts written on Python. Basically, you have what you do is you get your campaign structure, let's say Facebook. You export your campaign structure into CSV. They provide this service by default. You get your top creatives, for example. You get your top creatives from previous phase, from testing phase. Then you have two files. you run your script, the script will put your, let me picture it better. So you have your campaign structure from Facebook. You have a list of top performing creatives. The script will kind of unite two files in one. Now you have old campaign structure with new creatives. And you just hit the button and upload this thing to Facebook. That also will work for Snapchat, for example, or any other platform that supports CSV file upload, API upload, whatever. And I would say in 10 minutes, I can refresh creatives in one app. If I have 6 apps, I would need 1 hour to refresh creatives on the whole platform. Super quick, saves tons and tons of hours of manual work. What's next? Yeah, as a result, actually, speaking about Sandwich, our latest title, so we were able to scale the game in 2 weeks. That peaked #1 in over 60 countries. It was #5 in over 100 countries on both platforms. And we were running at some point over hundreds and hundreds of campaigns simultaneously. And as I mentioned before, we're getting simply hundreds of fresh video creatives every week. By the way, to create this insane amount of content, videos and in-game content and so on, we rely on talents. Therefore, we're actually actively hiring for creative guys and for development guys. So if you feel like you want to challenge yourself, please come to me or check out our career page. Next. Yeah, set it and forget it. That's the pain part. So this is the truth. You cannot just simply run the script, let the script go and set it and forget it. You still need to monitor it. You still need to update your rules. You still need to tweak your layers of rules, I would say. But you get insanely more time to do something else, like thinking about new channel, talking more to your creative team, discussing another concept, or maybe talking to your data science team to kind of coming up with the next idea or the next dashboard you want to build, and you didn't have time. And a short kind of overview what we are actually thinking about as a next stage. We want to be more sophisticated in our rules. We want to implement maybe machine learning or a bit more sophisticated tools that will help us to stop losses, for example. So if you implement the changes that make your company to lose money, how you stop it more efficiently. Or maybe we also want to be more efficient in sub-publisher bidding. Right now, these are pretty high-level automation, campaign, maybe ad set level. But if you go deeper to the sub-ID source, you can do so much more there. And especially if you combine this data with your LTV prediction, that's absolutely paramount automation you can do in the end. So these are just basic ideas that I have right now in mind. Something may pop up later because there are just new ideas coming up every week. And yeah, that's how we do things at Popcore. Thanks for listening, and yeah, if you have questions. Yeah, please.
For each creative, for how long you run it and for how much budget you can determine that this is good, this is bad.
So the question is, how do you understand if the creative can be run, or how much budget we spend per creative? Actually, we don't have a strict rule like 100K per creative per week or something. It comes naturally. You just look at the statistics, like high-level funnel, let's say CTR and conversion rate, and you already understand when your creatives or your set of creatives starts to dip. On Facebook, it's easy to oversee, or if you have a dashboard, you can also create a custom report that shows you your trend in CTR or something. So when we scale our game, we can refresh creatives like 3 times a week, because the volume we spend is enormous. But when the game is on sustained mode, we can refresh creatives maybe once a week, maybe once every other week. It also ends up in the your capabilities of what is your bandwidth. should you refresh creative or would rather optimize campaigns somewhere else? So there is no strict rule there is no silver bullet for that, yeah.
How many people in your creative team?
Good question. It's growing, yeah. We have five people in creative team, yeah, and it's growing. Yes, please.
How do you mitigate fraud with automation?
How do we mitigate fraud with automation? We do not mitigate fraud with automation right now. It's a good thing to think about. At this point, fraud is kind of taken care by our MMP provider. So we think we can do things that matter to us more. And maybe for hyper-casual game developer, fraud is not such a big deal right now. Or maybe we're just not looking too deep into this topic. But of course, at some point you can start thinking about it. Easy things you can run. Your conversion rate is too high. Your CTR doesn't match. Your eCPM insanely low. So these are simple surface things you can think about as a part of automation.
Yeah. So when you're doing the creative testing completely new concepts, oftentimes Facebook just gives you 95% of the impressions to the top creative, and it's just, if you're testing 8 different concepts, 2 of them just get no impressions.
Well, yeah, so Facebook is biased and doesn't really give you much of a wiggle room to test your creatives, that's right, sometimes. But we combat it by, first of all, we have not more than 10 creatives per ad set when we test it. Then we run rule on top of that. When the creative had something like 500, sometimes 700 impressions, that's already, for us, I'm talking about hyper-casual right now, so even 700 impressions is enough to make your judgment if the creative has certain CPI, is it good or bad. So our script will simply start turning off creatives that reached 700 threshold impressions, giving budget to other creatives that didn't have a chance to scale. And in the end of the day, even in 24 hours, we will get all of the 10 creatives, at least 500 creations served. Or maybe we will just ask for another day, and then for sure we will test everything in 2 days. And then the script actually will turn off the ad set. Yeah.
Like you said, like you have 5 people in the creative team, and then like how long does it take to make a new concept and then like turn it into the new creative? Because like it's a lot of work, so we want to know like how.
Exactly. It's a lot of work coordinating and also coming up with concept and producing. So we have pretty good guys that do this. Literally, we can sit together in the morning and coming up with an idea, and by afternoon I will get my creatives. Or maybe late afternoon I will get 20 new videos based on the idea we just generated. Or they will look at our backlog and I will just produce another 50 creatives. So we can make the full turnaround in 1 day.
How do you generate these ideas for new creators?
Well, we have fruits in our company. We have fizzy drinks. But I have no idea how it comes from. You just sit and you start talking and someone saw a nice ad on the Instagram, or we just saw a competitive ad, or we get inspiration from our competitors, of course. Or we saw a new trending app on the store and we're like, oh, that's interesting. For example, for one of our older titles, Connect the Pop, which is kind of, we generated tons and tons of ideas. Everyone ran out of ideas. And we're like, what is this like? This game is make me feel calm. Then maybe we will mimic this relax games and calm apps. And at some point we were kind of positioning the game as a escape from routine sort of thing. So you never know how you come up with a new concept, especially when your games are pretty not super sophisticated. There is not much depth in a game in opposed to MMO or RPG game.
I can go again if nobody wants. How do you think about different audiences that you want to test on Facebook, let's say?
Different audiences. This is TBD. We had tackled that in the past with not such a great success. Once you start segmenting, you get your CPI higher, and that breaks the budget. We still kind of trying it. We have different ideas of how we should tackle lookalike building, how big the lookalike should be, how you form your lookalike. Is it based on user activity? Is it based on user value? Anything else? And yeah, so it's work in progress right now. No silver bullet again. For us, segmentation doesn't work.
So when you say you're not segmenting, what do the campaigns look like?
Okay, so yeah, maybe in the terms of custom audience, it doesn't work. But yes, we do segment. Sometimes we segment by gender, sometimes by placement. Facebook has limitations, of course, but with creatives, you can kind of push algorithm to learn in certain way. Yeah, basically gender and placements.
Just broad?
Yeah, just broad, of course.
I imagine that's true just for hypercasual.
Yes, that applies to hyper-casual type of games. Yes, please.
How do you attribute ad revenues back to the campaign with generating?
Yeah, how we do attribute ad revenues back to the campaign. It's a big topic. You never know how complicated it is until you hit the wall. We do it internally. We also have user level data gladly to Max. We use Max as our mediation platform. So we have user level data from MMP, we have user level data from Max, so we can combine it in our warehouse. We also try to pipe it back to Adjust, so Adjust can attribute your ad revenues in their dashboard. We have some limitations which we try to combat right now, but the working solution is internal warehouse attribution.
So, do you use this automation only for Facebook and Google? What about ad network?
Yeah, good question. So Snapchat and Facebook are the most developed in terms of toolings. I see implementation of my automation for other display networks, for example, Iron Source or AppLovin, because you can do your scripting, you can do your automation outside of the platform. Let's say you exported your CSV bidding file, then you do something with it, and then you upload it back. So the automation can be solved. Right now, it's work in progress again.
So how did your automation project originate? Like, was it the data science team that said, this is crazy, or was it you? How did it?
I think it comes from different directions. First of all, the company is initially set for automation. Or one of our co-founders, Johannes, actually inspired me for automation part. Thanks. And also, when I was in my previous conference at UA Society, there was a brilliant introduction by Medict, I believe. I don't remember the company. They made a nice pitch about automation in performance marketing, and that kind of combined with my personal belief in that, and also company was eager to do automation and just created a perfect storm, basically.
I think we have just sort of a minute and a half, but my question is, how do you think about bidding? And automating bidding? Do you just leave it as auto bid? Yeah.
Well, speaking about bidding in terms of for social. So we start our campaigns on AutoBid, of course. We want to understand the price point we can pay. And also, when you scale, you have to rely on AutoBid. But when you go into the sustained mode, of course, we control our bids. Let's say social channels are not meant for sustained campaign management, I would say. So the algorithm just goes crazy, and you will never reach your profitability if you just run AutoBid in the long run.
Can you explain that? I'm not sure I understand.
So, well, I have an idea. I'm not sure. Yeah, sure. I have an idea. I'm not sure how is it in fact. Facebook kind of consumes all of the easy targets that they can reach with AutoBid. And once they consume these golden cohort users, at some point they run out of them. And they have to go into higher bidding in higher auctions. And you simply will let them do, and they will go to $100 and $200 because you have to stop them at some point. And hypercasual is very sensitive to CPI. You cannot pay $10 for a user, right? So, thanks, guys.